What is up, everyone? It is your man on fire mentor, David Mailer, coming to you as always weekly. Yes, weekly. I'm coming to you guys live. And it is an honor and it is a privilege to be with all of my fellow brothers that have been following me. Well, today we are going to take a dive into the simple rules to be successful in life. And yes, I did say simple. I didn't say complex. I didn't say detailed, intricate. Nope, it's not a mystery. There are simple rules for all of us to be successful in life. So then the question is, what do we even mean by successful? And before I dive into that, for those of you that may be brand new to Man on Fire, welcome. And I want to tell you just a little bit about who we are. We are a personal development company that specializes in being able to help a man develop mastery over his mind and get out of his head and start to drop down into his body, because we know too much information up here, but we're not living it in our life. There's not an integration of how we can actually start showing it in our life. So many men are stuck in their head. They're disconnected from their emotions. They've lost their leverage to be able to make change in life. So we have mastery over teaching you how to move from your head down into your body, and also how to get control of your thoughts and tame those pirates that like to take over your ship. We also specialize in helping men up-level their leadership, their masculine leadership in the different domains of your life, from health and wealth to your relationships, marriage, as well as to your mission and your purpose. And as we all know, a man without feeling a deeper purpose, without really connected to his mission, is a man that has a tendency to feel empty. So this is what we support men with. So if you're hearing those words and you're resonating with who we're about, then I would suggest you continue to follow a whole bunch of the lives that I do on the different social platforms, as it's always an honor to be able to share with you guys. All right, so today's topic, simple rules to be successful in life. So what do we mean by successful? I remember, there's many programs that I took with Tony Robbins, and I remember this one story he told where he would ask people if they feel successful in life, and he had people raise their hand for who didn't feel successful in their life. And he had one guy share, and he said, why don't you feel successful in life? And the man said, well, for me to be successful, and I'm not saying that the story went exactly like this, but this is how I remember it. He basically said, for me to feel successful in life, I have to make $5 million a year. I have to see my children 4 times a week. And then he named a whole bunch of other things. And so I remember Tony asked him, so why is it that you don't feel successful? And he said, well, I only made $4 million this year. And instead of seeing my kids 4 times a week, I only got to see them 3 times a week. And literally, this man was in almost a depressed state. He was really down. And then he had another guy share, do you feel successful in your life? And the gentleman was like, I feel very successful in life. And he's like, well, what's your rules for feeling successful? How is it that you feel successful? And he said, well, when I wake up in the morning and I go like this with my 2 arms, if I don't feel wood on both sides of my arms, then I feel successful. And that was his playful way of saying that if I'm not in a coffin and I'm not 6 feet under, then I feel successful in my life, because I'm still breathing oxygen, I'm still breathing air, I could still bring my love to this world. Now, the question really is have you ever really looked for yourself at, what do you define as successful? Have you ever taken the time to take a look at how you define success? So I want to give you a few simple rules to consider. So number 1 is, and by the way, guys, anything that I ever share with you, if it doesn't really resonate for you, please don't take it as gospel. Feel free to let filter through your own personal spaghetti strainer. I'm almost 55 years old. I've learned a few things in life, and these days I'm living more of what I've learned, more so than just speaking about it. So if I can share any of my life experiences with you, and create more ease, create more joy, create more happiness, create more love for you in your life, then that would make me beyond happy to know that I was able to have that impact in your life. So, with that said, what's one of the rules that we could consider to be successful in life? Well, one of the rules is to not necessarily define your success through your achievements, through your plaques and your trophies and your awards and how much money you make. I mean, naturally, you should, as a man, have a hunger to want to do well. You should have a hunger to want to bring more of your gifts to this world. You should have a hunger to want to always raise your standard. This is one of the reasons that men have a tendency to come to our Man on Fire immersions, Man on Fire Rising immersions, because they want to get that hunger back. They want to get that drive back. They know they're built for more. They know they have a higher potential, and they've been selling themselves short. So we're great at helping them reignite that fire. But there are plenty of people, as I'm sure maybe even some of you know guys like this, or maybe you've considered this for yourself. And I say this with immense amount of humbleness and empathy. There are plenty of people, millionaires and billionaires, who have taken or considered ending their life. So we know that success shouldn't be strictly related to what I've achieved, what I've accomplished, all the goals that I've crushed, the money that I've accumulated, the awards, the plaques, the trophies. It's not about that, right? That is a part of our life, but we can't use that as a means of trying to outrun our feelings of not being good enough, not being worthy enough, not being lovable enough. So then what are some simple rules that will help us be successful in life? Well, one of the rules is we have to be willing to take the courageous journey to go from our personality and our ego and our identity and surrender that into the journey of the soul. Meaning, let go of a lot of our attachments, let go of a lot of our conditioning, deprogram ourselves, and move away from the identity of who we thought we were or how we want to be perceived by others in this world. And we have to start this courageous journey into what many refer to as the dark night of the soul. This is where you start to learn more of who you are at your core nature, rather than how you were nurtured by others, from parents to religion to your town to your city to your country. We're always getting nurtured and being told who to be, but beyond your nurturing, there's a true nature, the essence of who you signed on to be as a soul. So one of the most courageous acts we could ever take on as a man is to begin that journey of moving away from our identity and moving away from our ego and start this journey towards our soul. So take a moment, put in the chat, put in the comment, whatever social platform you're tracking me right now. What are you hearing in what I'm sharing thus far? What are you actually hearing? All right, now, with all of that said, what's another simple rule that we can all, as men, follow in order for us to be successful in life, which we defined earlier when you first came on? Well, one of the things we could do, and this is huge, and this is having worked with literally over 10,000 men, and 9 years now with Man on Fire, and having run over 60 live events, working intimately with men with my team. And one of the things that we notice that sabotages a man's success, and again, when I'm talking about success, I'm not speaking about how much money you make or the trophies and the plaques and the awards. I mean, success that I'm referring to is more that you feel alive, you feel passion, you feel joy, you're lit up in your marriage, you're lit up in your relationships, you have depth and you have intimacy, you have no problems making money, and it's not to try to get away from feeling unworthy. It's just because you have a high standard. You have a hunger and you have a high standard. And these are things that allow a man to start feeling successful when he knows that he's moving more towards his potential as opposed to selling himself short. So one of the things that gets in the way for a man, and maybe when you're listening to this, you could be honest with yourself to see if you do this, is men have a tendency to wear the heavy burden on their back and on their shoulders of shame and guilt. They have a tendency to wear shame and guilt. And this is because if we're really honest with ourselves, and I can say this about myself, and having worked with all these men, I have never really heard an example where it didn't exist. We have done things we're not proud of. We have done things that we are not proud of and hurt other people, hurt ourselves, whether it was the act of cheating, whether there was improper touching of somebody, whether there was lying, stealing. There are people that have been impacted by our actions or our lack of actions. And so the tendency is to beat ourselves up. The tendency is to wear this heavy burden of feeling shame and guilt. And what ends up happening is that you don't learn to forgive yourself. And when you don't learn to forgive yourself, you're defining yourself by what you've done in the past, and you're allowing yourself to be defined by shame and guilt. Now, the problem with that is that that robs the people in your life of the real you, because you're showing up with shame and guilt in essence, and most likely unconscious or subconsciously or not within your field of awareness. What's happening as a result of that is life is still about you. Meaning, when you don't feel like you're in your power and you don't feel fully visible, you can't be vulnerable with somebody because you keep showing shame and guilt. So now life is about you're shrinking and you're contracting, and you're not giving people the real version of yourself, right? So for example, when you're cleaning up something in a relationship where you've done things that you're not proud of, you can't make it about you. The reason that you take ownership of this and responsibility, and the reason that you clean up past lies or indiscretions, is not to unburden yourself. It's to unburden the person that you're in relationship with. And in doing so, what ends up happening is that you no longer wear the burden of shame and guilt, right? You're not doing it to clear your own conscience. You're not coming clean on something, I got that weight off my back. No, how you get the weight off of your back, how you actually get the gorilla off of your back, how you start to let go of the shame and the guilt, one way, because I'm going to talk about another way in a moment, is by actually honoring the other person and getting with what it felt like for them, for you to have hurt them, meaning you encode yourself with empathy and with compassion, and you make it about the other person, so you're unburdening the other person. Now, in doing so, then you have the ability to not hold on to the shame and the guilt, and you can work on forgiveness of yourself. So one of the ways, simple rule to be successful in life, is to give up wearing shame and guilt, okay? So throw some fire signs, smash up that like key, hit me up with a comment. Yep, got it, David, totally tracking you. Makes total sense. If you think I'm out of my mind, which is a good thing, let me know. And throw some comments so that I know you're tracking me here. Okay. Another thing is, and this is a big miss by so many guys, is to be real with what is. And I'll explain what I mean by that. What I mean by be real with what is men today have this unhealthy addiction of trying to outrun, be in denial, or get away from their problems. And no one taught us that we should just learn how to surrender fully into what's there. So whether it's rage, whether it's frustration, whether it's sadness, whether it's anger, what if we just get with what is without judging it, without making it wrong? Because if you look at your life, most of a man's life is they're trying to outrun their shame and their guilt. They're trying to outrun their unworthiness and their unlovableness. They're trying to outrun all the pain that they carry. They're trying to outrun emotions that they don't want to feel for many reasons, one of which the culture made it wrong and told you shouldn't feel certain things. So here, take these pills. Take this magical pill, potion, lotion, or genie, Or you know what? Even better, you can blame somebody for why your life is screwed up. And now if you have all these forms of pain management, from pornography to massage parlors to overworking, right? Some men overwork to hide from where they feel unsuccessful in life, which is usually at home in their marriage or with the kids. We have all these forms of pain management, and including, social media and video games and alcohol and weed and all these different drugs that are telling you, well, if you don't like what you're feeling, don't worry. We can keep you busy enough, distracted enough, and we can give you pills, potions, lotions to make sure you don't have to feel what you have to feel. So what I'm here to share with you is that if you truly want to learn a simple rule to start feeling successful in life, which means in the different domains of your life, you're lit up. You can feel you're on fire in these domains of your life. This is what we specialize in, right? Helping men with marriage, with relationships, including with their children, with their health and their wealth, and with their mission and their purpose. For you to feel success in those things, you have to be able to be real with what is in front of you rather than running from it, which means you got to catch that you're doing this. And this is something that we're passionate about teaching you guys at our Man on Fire Rising 4-day immersion. We will teach you how to surrender into the emotions that you most likely at age 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 are learning, oh my God, I can't outrun them. It doesn't go away. I can't achieve my way out of this pain. I can't have affairs out of this pain. I can't, numb myself out of this pain. It just doesn't work. So one of the ways to be successful is you have to learn to just turn around and face and feel what you've been avoiding your whole life. So being real with what is and then facing and feeling it. And this is what we have mastery of at our 4-day Man on Fire immersions. We teach you guys how to actually feel these emotions so you no longer have to run from them. And it really only takes a few seconds to a few minutes to actually feel emotions. Otherwise, it could take a lifetime avoiding them. And in doing so, most men destroy their lives. And most men weren't taught, it's really simple to feel these feelings, learn how to surrender into the center of them, and more often than not, believe it or not, they turn into laughter and joy. So we're so passionate about teaching men this. And if some of you are being inspired by this right now, you're like, oh, I want to learn that, and you want to be considered to come to one of our live 4-day Man on Fire Rising immersions, go to our website, manonfirerising.com, and you'll see one of the links. It says apply for a discovery call to speak with a coach. And you'll click a link, you'll fill out an application. It takes just a few minutes, and you'll be considered eligible to possibly have a conversation with one of our coaches. Yes, there are criteria in order to be able to be eligible to be one of the men that gets to speak to one of our coaches. We have to know that you're genuine and sincere about your growth at this stage of your life, meaning you're not willing to put it off any longer. You're not waiting for someday. You're not willing to put this off 6 months or another year. Like, the time is now for you to up level. The time is now for you to start spreading your wings and live into your true potential. You recognize that you can't put this off any longer. You're ready to invest your time. You're ready to invest your resources. You're ready to invest finances in yourself, the greatest investment you'll ever make. You're ready to invest your energy. If that's you, we have different coaching programs that can range anywhere from $2,000 and above. And if you know that that's you and you want that extra level of support and challenge and accountability, go to our website, fill out the application, and apply to speak to one of our coaches. If it's not you, not a problem. Keep following me on some of these live social platforms, or come to one of our workshops. That might be $97. Maybe that's a better starting point for some of you. But for those of you that are like, no, I can't put this off any longer, I need a deeper level of support and challenge and accountability, great. Get your butt over to our website and click on the link that says apply for a discovery call, and we'll see if you're truly eligible. All right, now, what's another simple rule? But before we go on, what are you hearing in what I'm sharing? Throw me some fire signs, smash up that like key. Help us out with the different algorithms on the different social platforms so we can get this to more men, so we can all rise together. What are you hearing? What's a big aha? What's a big takeaway? What are you getting from what I'm sharing thus far? All right, now, with all that said, we have covered a few things. First, we defined, well, what does it even mean to be successful? And then we took a look at giving up wearing shame and wearing guilt. Then we took a look at being real with what is, meaning get with the emotions, face and feel the ones you've been trying to outrun your whole life. We also spoke about beginning that courageous journey from the ego to the soul. And you guys have probably heard the acronym, ego is edging God out. I mean, this really is inevitably what's needed, is that there comes a point where you recognize you can't get any further in your joy, in your happiness, in your feelings of rapture and awe and and um, and grace and gratitude until you have this sense of faith, until you let go of the trapeze and you allow yourself to come out of your head, out of your mind, and you start to experience life, um, and you start to connect to energy beyond your mind. So, excuse me, some people call that the soul. Some people would call it spirit. Some people call it oneness. Some people call it energy. Some people call it God. Some people call it Jesus. Some people call it Buddha. There's all different faiths and all different religions out there. And Man on Fire is a stand for how anyone's religion or faith is. We're not here to force you into a way of thinking. We honor all faiths and all religions. And the common ingredient that we share in our brotherhood is love, right? If love is not at the epicenter of your faith and of your religion, then I'm not as interested in what your faith or religion is. If you're just reciting, text from scripture, but you're not living it, you're not going to have my attention. No offense. I want to know, are you embodying the principles? Is it allowing you to exude more love and more life and give more and serve more to others? That's what I'll follow. So with that said, one of the simple rules to be more successful in life is start to cultivate your relationship with whoever God is for you. Whoever or whatever God is for you. This is a sacred journey to learn to connect with something beyond your mind, right? The mind can only give you so many answers. It could only bring you so far. And at some point, something happens in a man's life. Usually, sadly, it's a trauma or a tragedy that drops us to our knees and says, why? If there really was a God, then why is this happening? And when the mind can no longer give the answers, and we've had many men come to our programs that, have lost children. I can't even begin to imagine the pain of what that's like. And that is what begins a man's journey to start to foster a relationship with something bigger than himself. And many of us might have had that relationship when we were younger. Then we took our own path and we tried to achieve and accomplish all through the mind and the acuity and the sharpness of our head. But then we realized, wow, that didn't help me feel successful. That didn't bring me the joy. That didn't bring me the liberation. That didn't bring me the freedom. What's missing here? Well, one of the simple rules is to get back to basics of fostering a relationship with a higher power, and whoever that is for you. Okay. All right. What are you guys hearing in this, right? I'm touching on some controversial topics here. What are you hearing thus far? Smash up the like key, throw me some fire signs, and let me know what I'm sharing and how it's resonating for you. What are you taking away from this? What's the impact of what I'm sharing? What's the big aha that you're getting from me as I'm sharing? All right. Now, let's move a little bit further into what are some other simple rules to be successful in life. And guys, there could be hundreds of rules, right? I'm not telling you that the rules that I'm sharing with you today are the only ones. These are some that if you apply these in your life, I can promise you that when you look back in a year or two from now, you will feel that you are more successful, you will feel more joy, you'll feel more happiness, you'll feel more alive. So, what's another rule for you to be successful in life? Here you go, drum roll. Here we go. It is to find yourself a peer group where in the areas of your life that you're not reaching your full potential, in the areas of your life that you perhaps might be struggling, whether it's mission and purpose, whether it's health and wealth, whether it's career, whether it's your marriage, right? We're so passionate about helping men in our brotherhood get themselves back, right? You can't really get somebody back through a trick. There's no magical words that we're going to give you at Man on Fire. This is about getting yourself back. This is about coming home to yourself, being in your heart again, being in congruence and alignment with the real you. Like, you have to first get yourself back. And so if there's an area of your life where you recognize that you are not living into the standard that you know is required by your soul, you are selling yourself short, then get in a peer group that is living up to the standard that you know you need to be called forward to. So if you want to become a better golfer, go golf with scratch golfers or people that are scoring below par. If you want to learn how to crush it in your finances, go interview and go hang out with a peer group of people who are already doing that, right? So we have to be careful who our peer group is. And I'm not talking about our friends, right? Everyone wants and needs friends. I'm talking about a peer group that will push you and that will stretch you into the next level of your evolution, which most likely means this peer group that I'm referring to, you'll be uncomfortable in that peer group. In fact, you want to be the lowest one on the totem pole when you join a peer group. You want everyone to be crushing it in that group that will help you rise. So the question is, who's your peer group, right? Because with Man on Fire, we're creating a peer group. We have hundreds of members in our brotherhood, our inner chamber, and it's such a beautifully diversified community, from neurosurgeons to attorneys to mechanics to business owners. You name it, we have those guys in our brotherhood, from guys that know how to crush it in the financial world, in the crypto world. And so it's about hanging out in a peer group that will uplift you, that will pull you up in the area that you need the most amount of growth. So that is one rule to be successful in life. And what's the last rule that I want to share with you today? What is the last rule? The last rule for you as a man to be successful in life, and there is no escape from this one. I'm sorry, guys. You're hearing from an almost 55-year-old man, and I will tell you, your greatest growth, your greatest opportunity for you to feel successful in the different domains of your life that you value, from family to marriage to health to wealth to career to mission and purpose, your greatest opportunity for that is not only to be in a peer group, but to be in a peer group that will support you, that will challenge you, and that will hold you accountable, hold you to the fire of your real and true potential, that won't tolerate you shrinking and you contracting and you playing small. You must, as a man, have support, have challenge, and have accountability. Now, does that mean you can't do these things on your own? No, you can. But most men are afraid to be vulnerable and ask for help and ask for support. They see it as a sign of weakness. They don't recognize that your vulnerability is a sign of power. And most men won't grow to their true potential without challenge. Just think about bench pressing or squatting in the gym. You got to be challenged by somebody. You need a spotter. You need somebody in your face. You need somebody pushing you. And most men, if they're not being held accountable, will bail. They will bail on their commitments, right? Everyone makes commitments. I'm starting tomorrow, I'm going to the gym. But, the mood that you made the commitment in most likely will fade pretty quickly. And all of a sudden, you're bailing on your word. You're out of integrity with yourself. And you're out of integrity with your commitments that not only you make to yourself, but most likely you're making to other people. And you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. So what will help you is accountability. Having a group that's holding you accountable to your word. This is exactly what Man on Fire is all about. I'm not referring to one of these lives that you're seeing in one of my platforms where I'm speaking to you and there's no investment on your behalf. This is great information, but what you do with the information is what's going to make a difference. And without support, without challenge, without accountability, chances are it just stays as information, which is why we're so passionate about helping men move information from their head down into their body. And just think about somebody that's overweight. They have enough information. They've read enough books. They've seen enough articles. They've watched enough videos. So why are they still overweight? No support, no challenge, no accountability. Not the right peer group. That's it. It's that simple. So if you know you want support, if you know you need to be challenged, if you know you want to be held accountable to your true potential, and you are truly ready to explore one of our coaching programs, then click the link. Click on manonfirerising.com. Go to that website. Go to the link that says apply for a discovery call with one of our coaches and fill out the application. And if you are truly ready to make a financial investment in yourself, ready to invest your time and your energy, time being the greatest resource you ever have, because the lost time is never found. If you are ready for that, and I mean only ready, then make sure you go to our website and you fill out an application. And if you're not ready, keep following me on these lives as they're free. Maybe you'll come to one of my workshops that you can come as little as $97 to, not a problem. Some guys follow me for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years before they end up at one of our live 4-day Man on Fire Rising immersions, our signature event. Some guys don't have that. Some guys need it tomorrow. Some guys need it next week. Great. If you're the guy that knows you need this right away, get to our website, manonfirerising.com, click on apply for a discovery call, and we'll see if you're truly ready. And I will look forward to seeing you at one of our 4-day immersions. Guys, it is always an honor and it is always a pleasure to be able to share from my heart with you guys. And just know that I'm a stand for your success. I'm a stand for your joy in this lifetime. In the Man on Fire world, we get high off of watching other men rise into their true passion, power, and purpose. That's what it's all about. It's too easy to try to hold another person down. It's too easy to name, blame, and shame and judge and project onto others. How about we start helping each other rise? How about we bring out the true potential in our fellow man? That's what Man on Fire is all about. Bye for now, guys. So much love. Don't forget, smash up that like key. Throw me your final comments. It matters. It helps us with the algorithms. It helps us learn about more of what you want and how we can support you moving forward. Always an honor, always a pleasure, and I'll see you next week with some more lives. Bye for now, guys. So much love. I got a date with my wife right now, so I'm out of here.